Hey, it's Larry. Thanks for listening. Happy New Year. Real quick, before we get into this episode, I had such an amazing, eye-opening, life-changing experience at the World Parkinson Congress in Kyoto that I want others to have that opportunity too. So Becca Miller and I and 24 of our PD community friends have launched a year-long WPC travel grant fundraiser. We're each doing a 2-week Facebook fundraiser. Mine's underway right now because my birthday's January 9th. All the money raised will be used to help offset travel costs so more people with young onset Parkinson's can attend the next WPC in Barcelona in 2022. You can search out details on the When Life Gives You Parkinson's Facebook page or donate directly to the WPC website. Go to wpc2022.org/YOPD fund. If you or your business would like to supply matching funds, hey, good on ya. Email me at parkinsonspod@curiouscast.ca. And now, on with the show. It's time for another Extra Dosage episode of When Life Gives You Parkinson's. Hi, I'm Larry Gifford. Extra Dosage episodes are those in-between bits, the special bonus content to get you through to the next full episode. One of the cool trends that we're seeing in Parkinson's care are Parkinson's Wellness Centers, created by and for people who have Parkinson's. I first heard about the center in Cleveland called In Motion. It was founded in 2016 in part by Dr. Karen Jaffe. I know Karen from the Michael J. Fox Foundation Patient Council. In Motion is a diverse nonprofit that provides those affected by PD and other movement disorders a place to turn to for physical, emotional, and spiritual support, empowering them to take charge of their well-being. It offers exercise classes, cycling, boxing, plus Reiki, massage, art, and music therapy, and more. It was the inspiration for Jillian Carson, who just this summer opened the Parkinson's Wellness Project Center in Victoria, British Columbia. I visited Jillian recently to talk to her about the center and get a bit of a workout and chat about her Parkinson's journey. Jillian greeted me outside of a nondescript building. On the second floor, you get off the elevator, you can see right into the gym where dozens of people are punching and jumping and stretching. I walked through a purple door that says, Jillian's Gym. She immediately put me to work. It was the first day they were using yellies, the small toys that are motored by your voice. So you get on your hands and knees and you yell at the toy to move while you move behind it. So they placed Jillian and I side by side on the end of these mats. And we had to race to see who could get their yelly to the finish line first. We couldn't just yell anything. They had us count by 2. 40. So this exercise challenged our cognitive abilities, worked on keeping our voices loud and clear, and moved our body. We took turns on the speed bag.
What do you think of when you hit that?
Afterwards, we got some water, and Jillian and I sat down and began to talk about the center. She told me that the idea was hatched at the World Parkinson Congress in Montreal. It took 6 years to manifest, thanks in part to an anonymous donation of $500,000.
We really wanted it to be a one-stop shop for Parkinson's because, as you know, it's hard for people with Parkinson's to get around to different appointments and to have to go take yoga somewhere and then go take boxing at a different place and then go take your power moves at another place. It just doesn't work that well. So,
you know what? This is more than just a place to exercise.
It sure is, yeah. When I was diagnosed, I hid under my bed for basically 2 years until I saw that, the World Parkinson's is in Montreal, I can go to that. And I made a video, and they actually played it in the opening ceremonies. The people, I guess I was runner-up for the People's Choice, and that's when Andy McDowell got the prize. So
Andy beat you out?
Andy beat me out. Andy did.
Andy?
Yes. He is brilliant. He is brilliant still. So Andy and I went up on stage, and it was fabulous. And then the vision started there, just seeing all that. And then when people get together who have Parkinson's, and you just sat with us around the table, it was like one person that had never come. He was there for the first time, and he said, I know a guy who was diagnosed. He just doesn't do anything because he doesn't want to come. He said, this is so great today. I'm going to go tell him. I'm going to bring him next time. And that's how it works. And we know we learn the most from each other.
What's it do for you?
For me, it keeps me healthier than I think I would have been without exercising. Everybody needs to exercise, but it keeps me moving. I have a big challenge to move because I've had a spinal cord injury too, and so I've got like a double whammy, and I have dystonia, which is separate from Parkinson's, and so
It doesn't feel like it's separate from Parkinson's. It just feels like it's all part of one thing.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing that it's really hard for doctors to tease out, but that part. Because it feels so great after you've done high intensity exercise. I love that. I don't like the sweat. Actually, I like the sweat, but I like the euphoria kind of afterwards. It's good. And I think maybe it's the dopamine or something.
Yeah, well, sure.
But however, as you can see, I'm a social person. I was a caregiver. I was a physiotherapist. I talk to people all day long, and staying at home not talking to people was very unhealthy for me. So really, the social part is probably even more for me.
Yeah.
Have you picked that up yet?
I have picked that up. Yeah, you're pretty social. People like you. You're bringing community together.
I always say I grew up with a family of 6 kids, had 4 brothers and a sister. So all in 8 years. So there was always somebody around.
Jillian was diagnosed 9 years ago, 3 weeks before her 50th birthday. Her symptoms continue to progress.
I have a tremor on my right side. Sometimes it's going to my left now. But my major positive is I'm dystonia dominant.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dystonia came before. I was actually playing tennis with my husband, and all of a sudden I couldn't let go of the racket. It was just stuck. And another time he reminds me, I remember it when he reminds me, so I remember it right now. We were actually in Paris, and we were on a anniversary trip, and walking, and then just all of a sudden my legs were like trees. Absolutely, those big Douglas fir trees, pretty much. And I couldn't walk anymore, so he got me back to the flat that we were renting and lay me down, and both my legs were just still sticking up in the air. They wouldn't go down. It was like really weird symptoms. And
what were you thinking at the time?
I was so tired I couldn't even think by that time, but I was thinking, this is not right. And it's funny because when I told my dad too, like there's something, he goes, you should go to the doctor for that. That's not right. And my dad's brother had Parkinson's, and my dad's mother's brother had Parkinson's, and I seem to be following their symptoms really closely. So in my mind, I'm convinced there's a big genetic component that we just haven't found all the genes yet. Mm-hmm. We do know the young onset ones, right? And but I don't have those. I've been tested, but I'm sure there's other ones that one day they'll find them and see that there is that genetic. And then something maybe it was my injury to my neck that triggered it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I talked to a lot of people who are like, yeah, there's a genetic component, and then there's the environmental, and then there's something that there needs to be an incident or an event or something that triggers it.
Yeah.
Like that, at least the people with Parkinson's, that's what I hear that theory a lot.
Yes, and I do too. It's either like they have cancer or they've been in a car accident, or my situation, I was on the water slides, and I was with my youngest. She was 6 at the time, and we had lost control on the tube part, and so I didn't want her to get hurt, and I knew at the bottom there's a straight down, so I grabbed her, and just as we hit the top of it, I threw her so she wouldn't hit. And so she got in the water, but as I did that, by the time, how physics work, for every action there's a reaction. I went backwards, and I hit the back of my head on the bottom of that slide. So, yeah, and it ended up herniating a disc that broke in 2, and it was sitting in my cord. So it took a long time. They knew I had ripped the C7 nerve root off, of my right arm, but what happened was the disc had migrated about a centimeter down in my cord, and it was just sitting on the inhibitors of my cord, which why I have that separate dystonia in my right arm.
So I imagine that hurt.
It hurt a lot. Yeah. I was on a lot of gabapentin. But they couldn't figure it out because the MRI, in those days, like that was quite a long time ago, they have way better MRIs now, but they didn't really, they kept saying, I don't know, because of the Parkinson's stuff was in there too, and nobody knew. It was weird. I'm a difficult patient.
Even as a healthcare professional?
Well, usually healthcare professionals are the most difficult.
Oh, why is that?
I've been told that many times, just because they think they know too much, maybe, I don't know.
Well, so having played both roles,
Right.
What's your advice to people with Parkinson's as it relates to dealing with the healthcare professionals?
Yeah, it's really important that you communicate and not just go in and say, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, because that's what I did. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay, I can handle this, I know what to do.
You weren't fine.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't in so many different ways. So, but coming up to 9 years, I'm starting to feel the acceptance is there, and my mental health is a whole lot better. I've gone to CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and BCOM, which have been really, really helpful.
You said that you've come to accept it. How long? What was that journey like?
It was hard. I was in denial, of course, always for those years, and then, but what really changed it was just meeting everybody else that coming along, going to the World Parkinson's Congresses and meeting people who was incredible. As you saw in Kyoto, you look around, you see all these people who are living well with Parkinson's, and they're laughing and they're having fun, and so yeah, I can do that too. So it was really in Montreal that got me and connected to the global community, and then it's just been taken off like you. You're on the Michael J. Fox Advisory Council. I'm on the patient advisory council for Corda Therapeutics Pharmaceuticals in Boston. So I've been there a couple of times. Dr. John Stanford took a group of people he called the program Inside Out, so it's for healthcare professionals who had Parkinson's, and we went to Belgium 2 different years in a row, and we really talked it out as, because we were healthcare professionals and knew what the science of Parkinson's, we also knew the symptoms and what it felt to live with Parkinson's. It was a good project that they did.
Yeah, I think those more and more, the patients are being included in the research, and the pharmaceutical companies are reaching out and trying to better understand the living experience with it, not just the science of it, but how's it manifest in a person.
Yeah, and for, because I was a scientist, still always a scientist, how can you actually know unless you have it, is how even going to see your doctor for whatever, even an hour, you really have to come and live with me for a couple of days to see what my symptoms are.
Is that an offer?
Yeah, sure. You can come and visit. Yeah, we're in Brentwood Bay. Best place to come visit. We have a spare room, Larry.
Oh,
bring you and your wife and Henry. We can have a good time.
We're coming.
Okay.
As the Parkinson's takes hold, Jillian finds everyday household tasks more and more difficult.
Heavy lifting and things, and trying to do vacuuming and stuff. My husband has always helped me out doing that, but I trip, I fall. I've been getting lots of falls the last 2 years, and that's not good when you fall. So I don't cook anymore. That's another thing.
Why not?
Because my right arm has no strength in it, or it goes into dystonia, and then I'm flipping around these knives and hot things that I shouldn't be. Actually, that was one of my first symptoms too, is my husband and I were sitting having tea waiting for our daughter to get off work, and all of a sudden I was drinking my tea, and all of a sudden my hand went like that, and I threw the tea in his face, and you should have seen the look on the waitress's face. She's like, and my husband's going, "What's that about?" I go, "I have no idea." It's just like, so.
Wow. And that was before you were diagnosed?
Yeah, it was a couple of years before I was diagnosed. No idea what that was, but my husband will never forget it.
Who do you consider part of your care team?
My family first, my husband and my children, and of course my doctors. I've been unlucky, unfortunate, because I'm male. I'm turning 60 soon, and my doctors were that 10-year older group so my doctor at the UBC retired, my physical medicine doctor for my spinal cord retired, my surgeon retired, and so I'm starting all over again. My GP retired, so yeah, I'm starting all over again with new doctors, which is really hard to do at this stage. They don't know where I've been and what I've done and who I am.
So how do you do that?
Communication, it's a slow process. The other thing is GPs don't really know much about Parkinson's. They've admitted it to me, so I can say this out loud, but they don't. And so, mind you, neither do a lot of neurologists, and because we don't have a cure, it's hard to tweeze out. But
do you have a spiritual community at all?
I lived in Brentwood Bay now for 30 years, and so I have some really good friends here. My son, who's now 33, his friends' parents, we all got together, and they're our group of really good friends. Awesome. You know, I always say, with Parkinson's, you need to have a life raft, and not just one person in it. You need at least 8, right? Because if one of them's not available, you need someone else, and so your life raft needs to be full. And those friends are my life raft. I don't have an organized church that we go to, right, for spirituality, but I don't think spirituality is still strong in humanity. So it's my friends.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
As she settles into the couch in the lounge of the center, you can see the delight that she has beaming through her eyes as each familiar face walks through the doors and says hello, or grabs a cookie, or shares some bit of success in their workout that day.
It's just a dream that I thought would never happen, and it's here now, and I'm going to start crying now, because these people, everybody deserves to have the care they need, and I see it now. I watch them come in, and they come out of their classes, and they're smiling, and they're sweating, and there's lots of laughter, and it's beautiful.
There's a place we get to go. There's a place we get to go. Things to hit and things to throw.
Things to hit and things to throw.
They keep us moving both slow and fast.
They keep us moving both slow and fast.
Some days I'm not sure I'll last.
Some days I'm not sure I'll last.
But every Friday I find I'm ready.
But every Friday I find I'm ready.
To come down here to get rock steady.
To come down here and get rock steady. Rock steady!
And there's no admission fee.
No, we did admissions when we first started, but we found it's like when you invite, it's community and it's our family. This is the Parkinson's family in Victoria, and we don't. If we invite friends over for Sunday night, do we ask them to bring the dinner? No, right? So we decided to go to a donation only. And that way we don't exclude anybody who can't, because there are people who can't and there are people who can. And we know with our budgeting, our budgeting costs it costs us about $100 a month to run the programs for one person. And people know that. So $100 a month will cover one person to be in the program. And so some people give a bit more, and some people who can't, they don't have to. They can still come. Yeah.
This is an example of how each of us can make a difference. You don't need to open your own center. You don't have to host your own podcast. But do what you do. At Jillian's gym, she depends on an army of volunteers, and some of the participants bring baked goods, which maybe is counter to the exercise thing, but brings smiles to the faces of people who often can't smile through their masked expressions. So, just be you, do you. Share, engage, help, volunteer, educate, socialize, bake, bike, raise funds, participate in research, tell Parkinson's jokes, answer questions, give a hug. The options are endless. One of the new ways to interact with us this season is by leaving a voice message on speakpipe.com/whenlifegivesyouparkinson's. Here is one of the messages we received this week.
Hi, my name is Cindy, and I don't have Parkinson's disease, but I listen to When Life Gives You Parkinson's every week because Larry, Nikki, Rebecca, you have done amazing things with this podcast, not just for the Parkinson's community, but I would say for lots of people with chronic illnesses, including me. I have mast cell activation syndrome, which is a rare chronic disease that affects a part of the immune system and that affects every part of my everyday life. I'm allergic to nothing, and yet almost anything could make me have a massive allergic reaction when I'm not being properly treated. So when I first was diagnosed with this a year ago or 2 years ago at age 40, I searched on podcasts for chronic disease patient support, and I found When Life Gives You Parkinson's. And what you have given me during this has been amazing. It's so hard to describe to other people what it's like to be relatively young and be sick and not look sick and have to deal with giving up so very much of what you expected your current life to be, but also what your future was supposed to be. And Larry, you get it, and you share it with the rest of us. So thank you very much for what you're doing. Keep doing it. And for those of you interested in my illness, please visit mastocytosis.ca. Thanks.
Well, Cindy, thank you for that kind message. The website she referenced is mastocytosis.ca. Easy for me to say. mastocytosis.ca. I poked around that website as I'd never heard of this before. Like Parkinson's, there are dozens of signs and symptoms. Not everyone has the same combination of them, and no one knows the cause. There's no known cure. Mastocytosis is hard to diagnose and could take up to 10 years of collecting and suffering from symptoms before doctors figure it out. Cindy, all the best to you and the others with mastocytosis. What a crazy world we live in. All of us here are gratified that the pod is resonating with the PD community and now beyond. If you have a reaction to an episode, you want to share some thoughts, or you want to introduce us to your amazing chronic illness, leave a voice message online at speakpipe.com/whenlifegivesyouparkinson's. And that's your extra dosage. Coming up in the next episode of When Life Gives You Parkinson's.
My name is Brett Parker. I'm 51 years old, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's about 13 years ago. My day job is executive director of the New York City Bar Association. By far the craziest thing I ever did was the World Marathon Challenge, which is 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 straight days.
So you've got Jimmy Choi on American Ninja Warrior.
I was not expecting Parkinson's. It was the furthest word from my mind. I even swore at my doctor, you're effing crazy.
You got Tim Hague, who won season 1 of Amazing Race Canada.
I call Parkinson's my new best friend, whom I hate. And we just try to live together in some semblance of peace and move on and fight back against it every day.
You're all examples of people that are doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing with Parkinson's, but it's inspiring and it's drawing attention to it. Why is it important for us to have bigger than life moments like that in order to raise awareness for Parkinson's? When Life Gives You Parkinson's is a Curious Cast podcast. Our presenting partner is Parkinson Canada, parkinson.ca. If you'd like to help spread the word, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe for free to this podcast. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, and everywhere you get your streaming audio. You can also listen at curiouscast.ca. Engage with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just look up at Parkinson's Pod, or email us parkinsonspod@curiouscast.ca. And be sure to check out the show notes for more information about what you heard here today. When Life Gives You Parkinson's is written and hosted by me, Larry Gifford. Dila Velazquez is our story producer, sound design by Rob Johnston. Keep positive, keep exercising, and keep listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Canada may be known for its landscapes and friendly people, but beneath the surface lies a darker side of crime, history, and the paranormal. Since 2017, the award-winning Dark Poutine podcast has explored the shadowy corners of the Great White North and beyond, delivering chilling tales from a uniquely Canadian perspective. Hosted by Mike Brown and Matthew Stockton with over 300 episodes and fresh releases every Monday, Dark Poutine is your weekly ticket to the creepier side of Canada. Listen to Dark Poutine on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.